Christ-centered emotional healing. Healing emotional wounds can increase your joy, influence better decisions, and enhance relationships. In this video, you will learn a simple tool to help you dump emotional garbage. It doesn't require an education, degrees, or experience, and it's simple enough that just about anybody can do it. It's best accomplished with one person guiding another. The person you will be working with needs to have a clear and open mind, the ability to imagine, a desire for emotional healing, and willingness to let Jesus Christ be the healer. Many have reported being amazed that something so simple can be so powerful. So here goes. I'm going to teach you the tool right now. Begin by having the person you're working with think of a positive image of Jesus Christ, such as the one on the screen. For most, this is easy to do because many drawings and paintings show what he might look like. Once the person has that image of Christ in mind, you're ready to move on to step number 2, which is having your person think of a troublesome memory they would like to resolve. It may be a good idea to start out with a minor one, just to see how the process works. With those two things in mind, you're ready to go on to step number 3, which is having your person imagine his image of Christ going directly into that painful memory. Then notice what happens. Usually the negativity begins to subside and the perception changes to something resolved or maybe even pleasant. Believe it or not, I just taught you the tool. That's it. How simple can that be? Placing your image of Jesus Christ directly into an uncomfortable memory. Usually the memory will begin to feel better within seconds or sometimes minutes. This can't change the fact that life events happened the way they did, but my experience has been that when Christ infuses his understanding into the memory, the perception of the event usually improves. This same technique can also work for resolving emotions alone, without memories attached. And this is how that could work. Have the person you're working with think about his troubling emotion and have him notice where he feels the feeling. It could be anywhere inside of the body or even outside of the body to some degree. Here's an example. As this person thinks about his sadness, he may notice it feels like a heavy cloud looming overhead. Have the person introduce his visual image of Christ right where he feels the feeling. Instruct him to notice what happens and report it to you. It could end up feeling something like this. If the sadness reduces, but it does not resolve completely, ask the person to notice where the remaining feeling is located. It could be in the same place or a different place. Wherever it may be, do the same thing again until it is completely resolved. Emotions can be stored in layers, so if more sadness shows up on another day, do it again, the very same way until it's gone and stays gone. Let's say a person is experiencing anger and reports feeling it in the gut. Have the person introduce his image of Christ right into the place where he's experiencing that feeling. And it usually ends up feeling kind of like this looks. Perhaps the feeling of loneliness has settled in the heart area. Introduce the image of Christ into that lonely feeling, and once again, most report quick resolution. Some memories can be so toxic, they have been hidden from you by your own mind, but they could still be generating a lot of uncomfortable feelings anyway. The beauty is, you can often resolve those blocked memories by applying the image of Christ right into the place where you feel the feelings. This technique can also work just as well by imagining a ray of light going from Christ to the difficult memory or emotion, just like that. Let's say your person has just sent the light to a painful memory of being bullied, and it has been resolved. However, You know there are many more memories just like that one because the bullying went on for years. So how do you handle more than one memory? Christ is a multitasker and can easily resolve groups of memories all at the same time. So have your person imagine that the light penetrates deep into memory, even to the places you couldn't possibly remember, and ask Christ to resolve all of the bullying memories just like he did the first one. And my experience has been that he does. He just needs an invitation. For those who have a hard time visualizing Christ, I've learned that some people can just use a picture of him and imagine or sense a ray of light going from the picture to the emotion or the memory, and that works quite well most of the time. What Christ does for you depends on your belief, desire to be healed, and an invitation to let him do what he is able. Here's another point. Some have reported doing this tool successfully on themselves, and I certainly would encourage you to try. However, I have found that it works better with one person guiding another. You might have someone else learn this tool with you so you can work on each other. What a blessing it would be for every parent to be able to help their children with their emotional owies and wounds soon after they happen. Otherwise, they may carry their emotional baggage into adulthood. Here's something that happened recently while I was with a group of people. I noticed two little 10-year-old boys had just seen a horrible image on the computer. I could see the obvious horror on their faces and that they just couldn't shake it off. I asked each of the boys if they would let me do something to help them feel better, and they both agreed. I also got permission from their parents. And by the way, always get permission before you do this on anybody. I asked them to imagine Jesus Christ and then to send a light from him right into that terrifying image that was of course, in their memory at that time. Within seconds, relief came over their faces, and they told me it didn't bother them anymore. They settled right down and continued playing. Some weeks later, I did it again with another young man who had experienced physical ailments since he had looked at a similar kind of computer image. And that took just seconds to resolve. And his father told me later that his physical symptoms just lifted after he did that work. So if you or others you know have been feeling sort of like this, and you haven't known how to find rescue, why not turn those emotional wounds into wisdom by using this wonderful Christ-centered technique? So that's it. That's the tool. How can something so simple be so powerful? If you've ever heard of the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous and all of its other affiliated programs, this tool reflects the third of the 12 steps, asking God to do for you what you cannot do for yourself, only it's done in a visual way. This tool is not affiliated with the 12-step program, but it does reflect that third step. Here's my disclaimer. Results vary. End results depend more on the person you're working with than on the facilitator, Christ, or the tool itself. A person who is highly motivated, open, and willing may get fast, miraculous results, just like I showed you, while another person with no motivation, drug interference, and some other factors may get no response at all. Children usually get excellent results in very short order because they have not yet become complicated like us adults. The type and duration of a person's abuse or trauma can also determine the adequacy of this tool as well. Some trauma happened over such a long period of time or started at such an early age that it would require a trained facilitator with more experience and tools to handle the complexities of those kinds of issues. Sometimes the person's emotional issues are not even caused by unresolved memories or emotions. As an example, A person suffering with medication-caused anxiety will probably have no response to this tool at all because their anxiety has been chemically induced. Some have built up conscious or unconscious walls of resistance. You can try placing the image of Christ or the light from Christ into the place where the resistance is felt, and sometimes that's all it takes to break down those walls. But sometimes there are just too many complications and the blocks hold strong. In those cases, you may want to refer to a more experienced facilitator, which can be found on the website I'm going to give you in just a minute. And there will be other kinds of situations that keep it from working. Just apply it when you can. The good news is, because this uses nothing more than a simple image of Christ to do the healing, I have never witnessed it do any harm in the attempt. What if a person does not have a belief in Jesus Christ, but they do believe in God? Those people can look for a video called God-Centered Emotional Relief. Since visualization is such an important part of this tool, and yet so many people have no idea what God might look like, this video will help those people establish a visual image that represents God for them. Otherwise, the tool is the same. If you'd like to take even better control of your emotional health, visit this website, findingthehealer.com. Watch the introductory videos and check out the links below. It may help you gain an even deeper understanding of how and why this process works for you. If you have any questions, you can email 123@findingthehealer.com or write your questions on the Facebook page, SRT, Subconscious Reparative Techniques. And it will probably show up if you just type in SRT alone, so you don't have to spell out the whole thing. And remember to like the page when you're there. Thank you for watching. I hope this will grace your life. God bless you all, and bye for now.